music. When you're done with the song, put it behind on the right-hand side. Other than back on the left. I don't know where on the right.
Remind him to put it with the title in the bottom.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that doesn't even bother me.
If you tell them that, they'll have it the right way. It doesn't bother me.
I'll think of something to do for next week.
Everybody hear this? Besides the motorcycle. I don't know. It's just me. I can hear it. Anyway, good evening. Welcome back for another exciting season of Bryan City Band. As I'm sure you've been noticing, we are celebrating our 165th anniversary. We are 165 years of continuous music in Bryan, Ohio. I have not been here that long. Nancy has. We're going to be, as a new season, a lot of different things. It's nice to see a lot of people out there tonight. We have the band. Sometimes I look at them and go, what a bunch of old fogies. And then I look at them other times and I say, what a bunch of kids. And so it was really nice to see. We've got quite a bit of age difference. We've got a nice age span, and we have quite a few new members. Actually, who's first year member? First year member here today. See, so we've got a few new members. And we'd like to welcome back an old returning member, Mark Blanchard, came back. He wasn't able to play for a couple of years. He's back with us. And unfortunately, over the winter, we do like to remember people that we did lose over the winter. And former band member and Bryan High School band director, Glenn Miller, passed away during our off season, so we'd like to remember him also. So, yay, Glenn. So the first song you heard was called They're Off, which was essentially it's a circus march called a gallop. And they use it for a lot of different things, but mainly I was told for like when the clowns would come out and do all sorts of wacky things. It's just a way of distracting people to what's going on at one spot so they can reset for something else at another spot. So that's They're Off. Now we're going to do a programmatic piece called Skydive. I got this piece thinking, I read the description of the piece, I said, this should be really good. And the idea is it's supposed to musically portray skydiving, like the exhilaration of jumping out of the plane, falling down, and then all of a sudden you get to a point where everything is nice and calm, and you look throughout the land and it's calm, and there's no panic part in here, which is what I would do. But anyway, this is and then the exhilaration of getting speeding up and getting into the landing. So this is skydive. feel skydiving on that? Okay, it only gets sing pretty young, that's good. All right, moving on to something a little bit different. This is called Dick Clark's Rock, Roll, and Remember. And this is sort of a musical tribute to Dick Clark. Now, even though I'm sure we all know that Dick Clark didn't actually play anything, he was instrumental in the beginnings of rock and roll and keeping popular music alive through decades and decades. He started out with American Bandstand in Philadelphia, gradually became a national program, and then he took over the New Year's Eve thing, New Year's Rockin' Eve, which I'm sure you all watch every year, is so you can keep up on all the new hip kid stuff. So anyway, this is a tribute to him, using some of the songs throughout the decades that he was popular. Included are Bandstand Boogie, Rock Around the Clock, The Twist, Don't Worry Baby, Rockin' Robin, YMCA, and Old Lang Syne.
Now, don't forget, when we get to 1:30, on the repeat of 1:30, do not play the first bit. 140, 140. The repeat of 140, do not play the first, remember, the repeat of 1, 2, 3, go.
years is sometimes during our concert, we like to do a song that's either a religious song or spiritual type song. This is our spiritual song of the evening. This is called It's Gospel. And what it does is it takes two different gospel songs. He's got the whole world in his hand and Rock of My Soul. And the composer kind of takes each one and presents it and then mixes the two of them together in a nice little melange of gospel song. So this is called It's Gospel. We will shift gears here a little bit and get into one of our traditional marches. Our next song is a Sousa march called The Thunderer. This is written by Sousa in 1889. Now, usually Sousa's marches have some sort of significant meaning, but nobody can seem to really pin down exactly what he meant by the Thunderer. So this is just sort of a mystery march, but it is considered by most music scholars and Sousa scholars to be one of the first examples of a very definitive American-style march. So this is Sousa's The Thunderer. nice to be back here on the square this year. That's nice. That being said, next week we'll be at the ice rink. The reason being is next week is Jubilee week, and in order so we don't run into each other or try to annoy each other or have them shut things down so we can hear, we'll just automatically go out to the ice rink next week. So next week's concert, ice rink, and then as long as weather is good, we'll be out here. Also, that brings up a question. Sometimes people that don't know where it's going to be if the weather is sketchy. Bryan City Band has a Facebook page that on Wednesdays, if the weather looks iffy, I try to have a decision on the Facebook page by 4 o'clock. So you just check your Facebook page. Also, I call the Chamber of Commerce, usually call the mayor's office. Well, he usually calls me starting at 8 in the morning. He said, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? The Chamber of Commerce usually knows, and I call the radio station. But best way is to check on the Facebook page, and we usually know by 4 o'clock. So this week here, next week out there, hopefully the rest of the season up here. Now, since we're up here, it's always such a nice little slice of Americana. This is a setting on the square, and this nice little bandstand with the beautiful courthouse and stuff. I found a piece of music here called a horse-drawn buggy ride, which you could use this for any season. If you were to put sleigh bells with it, it'd be a good Christmas song. But to me, it just sort of harkens to mind the late 1800s, early 1900s of what life must have been like around here at that time. So I hope you enjoyed this. This is called a horse-drawn buggy ride. Once again, we have a medley of songs. This is called a symphony of sitcoms. And what this is a medley of bits and pieces of different older sitcom theme songs. And when I say older sitcoms, I look around here and I'm thinking, oh, they're brand new, you guys. The people of a certain age will remember most of these. Okay, we'll remember not only the show, but the theme song itself. So, in order to make this a little more interesting, well, first let me tell you the songs that you'll hear will be the Woody Woodpecker theme song, Dick Van Dyke Show, Mr. Ed, Leave It to Beaver, Hogan's Heroes, Beverly Hillbillies, Bewitched, The Munsters, Green Acres, and I Love Lucy. Okay, that's a nice little smattering of shows. Everybody remember those, or most of them? I just so happen to have made up a little quiz about these shows. If you know the answer, just yell it out. If you get it right, you'll get a free ticket to next week's concert. The Woody Woodpecker Show. Who was the original voice of Woody Woodpecker? Mel Blanc. Mel Blanc was the original voice, and he took the voice on a discarded voice he was originally going to use for Bugs Bunny. But it didn't work out, so he did that. Afterwards, Walter Lantz was the producer of the Woody Woodpecker cartoons, and his wife, Gloria Stafford, took over as the voice of Woody Woodpecker from 52 to 72. Wasn't that thrilling to know? You can dazzle your friends and neighbors with that. Dick Van Dyke Show. What city did they live in? New Rochelle, New York. Good one, easy one. Mr. Ed. Mr. Ed Wilbur was played by Alan Young. What was his profession? Somebody back here. What? Architect. He was an architect. That's fun. See these people out there going, you knew that, didn't you? You know, that's right. Leave it to Beaver. What high school did Wally go to? Polly just said Beaver High. No, that's not right. I knew some people who went there, though. Okay. No? Mayfield High. Mayfield High. Okay. Free ticket. There you go. Boom. Hogan's Heroes. Hogan, as we all know, would often radio back to Allied headquarters and report on things that were going on. What was his code name when he would call back? Goldilocks. Goldilocks. Okay, Beverly Hillbillies. In the first season of Beverly Hillbillies, Jethro had a twin sister, and it was also played by Max Baer, who played Jethro. What was the twin sister's name? Very good, Jethrina. It took a stretch. It's good writers there. Bewitched. What town did that take place in? What town did they live in? Westport, Connecticut. Okay, the Munsters. What was the Munsters' address? What Mockingbird Lane? 1313 Mockingbird Lane, right? Green Acres. The Douglases had a cow. What was the cow's name? Now you're thinking Wilbur the pig. No, no. Cow. What was the cow? What was the Douglases' cow's name? Eleanor. I Love Lucy. What was Lucy's middle and maiden name? McGillicuddy was her last name. What was her middle name? Esmeralda. Oh. See, so now you can, tomorrow morning you can dazzle your, hey, you know what I learned last night? And your significant other will go, hey, who cares? Anyway, this is a symphony of sitcoms. Uh, Before I go on, I do want to thank, as always, our friends from the Kiwanis being here and selling popcorn and pop. Thank you. And BMU, Channel 4 will be, Channel 4 and Bryan will be playing our concerts on the next day, I believe. I can't remember what time. Check your local schedules. So we appreciate them being out here taking care of this for us. Also, this goes for band members as well as anybody. If you desire to have a copy, a DVD copy of any of the concerts in the past few years, contact WBMU. They have those, and I'm sure they will happily sell you a copy of any concert you want to have. So that's, when you're sitting around during cold winter months and everything is, repeats, let's watch a city band concert. That's what we do. Okay, we're moving on to another march. This is called Noble Men. This is by Ohio composer Henry Fillmore. Henry Fillmore was born in Cincinnati, and with the amount of compositions he wrote, he had over 250 compositions, original compositions, and or arrangements of things. He pretty much rivaled Sousa with the vast amount and with the popularity of his marches. This is one of his more famous ones. This is called Noble Men. Okay, we will continue our string of marches here with another march. This one is a Sousa march. This is called the Triton. And what's a little bit different about this march is it was originally written in 1879 as a march for violin and piano. And that kind of seems like an odd combination. And it was very short. Essentially, but the music you hear, that march was only about the first half of it. In 1892, he wanted to have a band arrangement of it and publish it as a band arrangement. So then he added on the second half and retranscribed the beginning for full band. And so now we have the march that we know today as the Triton. But I thought it was interesting that a violin and piano march, I'm glad I didn't hear that. So this is Sousa's The Triton. Since last fall, or since last summer, the last time we saw each other, I believe we have a new president since then. And so as sort of a tribute to this great land that we have, no matter what our turmoils are, and I'm sure we've all seen it, no matter what side of the fence you sit on, we've seen a bunch of this and that, to be very, politically correct about it. So I did want to have a little bit of a salute to everything that we know and love here. And this is America the Beautiful. Now this particular arrangement was done quite a few years ago, and it goes through a couple different phases, a very somber phase, and then it starts to go into almost like a march thing. But this particular America the Beautiful, in case you didn't know, was originally written as lyrics. Just the lyrics were written as a poem called Pike's Peak in 1895, and it was written by Catherine Bates. And then later on, Samuel Ward had written the music for Materna that goes along with the hymn, O Mother of Dear Jerusalem, and he wrote that in 1882. In 1910, the poem and his music were merged together for publication, and we end up with America the Beautiful that we have now. So, this is America the Beautiful. All right, we've come to that portion of our program where we like to traditionally end up with God Bless America and the Star Spangled Banner. And as always, we have the whatever. We have the beautiful June Webster and the equally beautiful Dave Perkins to come and sing for us.
Yes, get close.
One moment.
While the storm clouds gather far across the sea, let us swear allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful to a land so fair as we raise our voices in a solemn prayer. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home. By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose lights and bright stars through the perilous fight, for the ramparts we won were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the monsters sting in air, give proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sing us that star-spangled banner yet wave, for the land of the free and the home of glory.